Good evening. This is my daily vlog for what day is it? Sunday, June 27th? 27th. Good pup. Diggy dog back there. Where'd he go? Anyway, it's super late. Realized I didn't do this yet today, so I wanted to get on. If you notice on the Bunker Project page, I posted not really an ad, but just kind of a post looking out for possible president to take over my role as president of the Bunker Project. That doesn't mean that I'm giving up my position, or stepping down the Bunker Project or anything like that. Basically just means that I'm trying to split up my role. I have been doing pretty much all the roles by myself to keep this thing afloat, and I'm burning out. I can't do it all by myself like that. It's just not realistic, especially if I want to grow and get this thing bigger, expand to other cities, that kind of thing. So I really need to start parsing out some of the roles that I've been doing. So that's president of the board chairman. That's an entire kind of, not really a job, that's a board member. It really only needs to coordinate the once monthly house or annual meeting, kind of oversee me or oversee whoever would be the CEO, even if that's not me. And yeah, coordinate the other board members for that. And then really, like, the main purpose of a board is ideally to try and bring in donors. It's their main focus is usually that they're higher level people who want to give back to the community. So that's why it's only a volunteer position. That's why the president, the board members don't get paid. These are people who really want to give back and support the community. So I don't offer pay for that position. The only person who I would offer pay so far for, once we get to the point, would be a regional director. So that's kind of the position I'm trying to bump down to now, that I'm going to do for free, of course, just to keep the Bunker Project going. But basically that role is just managing so like supervising the house manager. So that's someone I bumped up that was living in the house. They're now the most senior person in the house, so they become house manager, don't pay any rent in exchange for that. Just kind of coordinate the cleaning of the house, deal with any issues that happen to pop up. Hey, I forgot my keys. Okay, house manager's got an extra key, that kind of stuff. If there's a water break or something, faucet goes out, whatever, they can give me a call, and then I call a plumber and get that going. So that's kind of how that whole thing works. And then the president, the board, make sure that our finances and all the administration stuff is being taken care of at that level. Regional director, for now, I'm tracking all the finances, which for now we just report that no income, no expenses to the IRS, because this is my own house, and that would be personal gain, of course. So as long as it's my own house, I don't report anything. As far as coming in and going out, all of this is, everything you see in the house is all going with the house. The Tesla, the coffee makers, just whatever, books, that's just out of my own pocket, just going to the house. I don't get to write that off, as a donation or anything like that. And I'm totally fine with that. That was the point. Anyway, so I've been trying to find ways to fund the Bunker Project, clear up this personal gain issue, so we can eventually get to where we have donors. And one of those personal gain issues is me living in the house. So first way to take care of that, okay, I got the fourplex. As soon as one of the tenants moves out of there, I'm going to move into the fourplex. And so there we go. Now I'm not living in the house anymore. That takes care of that issue. Still, the other issue though is that I own the house. It's the loan is in my name. So I've been looking for entrepreneurial avenues to pay off that loan, either pay off the loan or to be able to transfer the loan to the Bunker Project. So at first I was just really focused on raising the down payment, $50,000, 20% of what I have left on the loan of 250 grand. But the problem is that the Bunker Project would still have to meet all the requirements of a loan. So even if I raised the $50,000 to be able to cover that down payment, well, the Bunker Project would still need to show income for the last 2 years, which it can't show because I have to report 000. So even though I bring in $1,800 a month in rent from the 4 rooms, can't claim that as income. Even though I've donated all this stuff out of my own pocket, $9,000 for windows, $6,000 for grass, my uncle came down and painted the house. I mean, tons of sweat equity in this place, that kind of thing. Can't claim any of that. So our income up to this point is zero, 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 zero every year. So that's a problem. Not going to qualify for a loan that way. Debt to income ratio would be way too high. You're asking for $250,000 in debt. You got zero income to pay it back. That's not going to work. We have no business credit. I just got our business account established like 2 months ago, I think, for the second time. So we had a Wells Fargo account before. They charged a $5 monthly fee. I put $500 in it. We got our website established, had the sponsorship page up. Never got sponsors, so that $5 fee eventually whittled it down so that there was no more bank account at all, and so the Wells Fargo account got shut down. So I just reestablished a bunker project account. Just put in about the $2,600. That's from, I think it's what, $690 or so from the Facebook page donations. I think I put in a few thousand or whatever, a couple, I don't know, not a few thousand, maybe 1,200 or so that I made off of Turo, doing my own personal car. Put that in there, and then I just seeded it with like $500 of my own money as well. So that's our business account for now, $2,600 or so in a checking account tied to the bunker project, and that's it. But otherwise, when the guys pay me rent, and the roommates pay me rent, they pay me directly. It's in Kyle Rogers' name. It's not in the bunker project name, because it's my own personal house. I don't want to get in trouble for personal gain. Don't want to, not trying to make any kind of gain off this house whatsoever. So anyway, that leaves the other option of trying to raise money through entrepreneurship. So I'm like, okay, 50,000 is not going to cut. I need to raise 250,000 now. That ups the ante, right? So, and I've tried to do a few avenues. So fourplex is one idea. See if that spreading out, getting more rents, spreads things out. But I still want to be able to do the same thing in the fourplex, where they only pay rent for 8 months, but get to sign a year lease, so you get essentially 4 months free rent. That means I got to take a big loss in order to do that. So there's no profit generation off the fourplex, no profit generation off of this house. I have a third house up in Oregon, my original house I'm selling, but that hasn't sold yet. And even if I sell that, that's not necessarily going to be the full $250,000 to cover the entire loan. So I can get pretty close with that. So if you buy my house up in Oregon, 632 Ann Lane, it's listed on Zillow as a for sale by owner. I've got it listed for $440,000, but with the right offer, willing to work on price, of course. Includes all the furnishings, includes a tenant even. She pays rent, so great for an investor, great for personal. Anyway, there's that house. But so what else? So I signed up for a multifamily investment seminar. So it's like, trying to do single family homes, it's just too time consuming to do one house, here, and you gotta live in it for a while, flip it, sweat equity. I mean, it's taken me 6 years to get to the fourplex. So that's too slow. So I'm like, well, okay, let's move up to larger apartment complexes. And that requires syndication, because I don't have that kind of money to go drop on a, multi-million-dollar apartment complex. But if you get a few investors together, then maybe you can do that. So that's one option with the house up in Oregon, is to maybe sell that house, take that money, roll it into a multifamily investment. And then with acquiring that multifamily investment, the investment or the return on that would cover that $250,000. So that's an option I was thinking about. And then yesterday, you saw me share about, I went to that seminar, and they kind of sprung on us this huge price tag, and I was really discouraged yesterday. Just like, man, I'm trying these entrepreneurial efforts, and just everywhere I keep bumping into my head. With the Turo, I got to get set up as a dealership. Well, that costs money to get set up as a dealership. Want to get into multifamily? Well, to join the mastermind group, that costs a ton of money. To buy houses, to buy fourplexes, to fix these things up, the whole just cost money to make money thing. And then so one of the things I always keep coming back to is all my book collection. So I think I mentioned I'm in sociology, and sociology is a critical science, very critical of society. Is one aspect of sociology anyway. And so like, books like this, We the Poor People, where's a good one? I don't know. There's The Rich Get Rich, The Poor Get Poorer, books about equality. So I'm very astute to like, the criticisms of capitalism, the criticisms of, that basically what they say is kind of the summary of this whole section of books. This is the, what is this? The social inequality section of my library. So basically the summary of all these books says, that capitalism is nothing more than a reformulated version of feudalism, and that entrepreneurs are basically just another word for vassals. So they're the ones who do the work to funnel the money up to the kings, which would be the capitalists nowadays. So that's kind of their criticism of entrepreneurship, that it's an entrepreneur, you're never really going to get ahead, that all you're really going to be doing is hustling and hustling and hustling to funnel money up, and they're just going to keep selling you on this illusion that you'll get to be a king, but you never will be because you weren't born into that, to begin with. That's the sociology critique, I guess, of capitalism. And so I've got that in the back of my head, and that was kind of what was getting me discouraged yesterday. It was like, man, it's proven to be true, I went to Iraq, and literally put like blood, sweat, and tears into fighting to get my own, opportunity at the American dream, and then the American dream for me was go to college, So I went to college, climbed all the way to a PhD, right? Like I've done all the classes, like all I have left is a dissertation at this point. And to get to the very end, and the kind of conclusion is that you're never going to get ahead because of who you were born to, that kind of thing. It's just like, man, that's just kind of discouraging. And I kind of wanted to prove them wrong, essentially. Getting into entrepreneurship myself is kind of a way of like challenging that. Like, is this really true? Like, did I, has all my effort been wasted? That like no matter how hard you try, can you really not get ahead in America? Or is that not true? So this is kind of my challenge to it, was like, let's get involved. I don't really know if it's true unless I actually go try it. And when they throwing that big price tag on us yesterday, it felt like, yep, it's true. And seeing the policies in place, and so you have to have a dealership established in order to lease cars in Vegas. It's like, well, that cuts out all the sharing economy, so that keeps the poor from being able to move up. Airbnb, same thing. You got to be established as a hotel and pay all the hotel tax and blah, 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 and be in the right areas. So again, cuts out the sharing economy, doesn't allow the poor, an opportunity to use entrepreneurship to build themselves up. So that's kind of where I was going with that. But anyway, something cool happened, right? Like totally restored my faith in the American dream. So I started out with this lanyard today, the black one. It's just meant you're a regular attendee. And then as people started signing up to become a part of the mentorship program, they give you this yellow one. This yellow one is worth the $40,000 that I talked about yesterday. So I had an anonymous donor essentially cover my fee so I could join this multifamily group. And basically because I had told them about, what I was trying to do with the bunker project. I told them my why, essentially, that, why am I doing this? Why am I wanting to get into multifamily? Hey, I gotta get 250 grand. I gotta turn over this loan. I gotta find a way. And so, we have the way. And if you're willing to put in the work, we'll teach you and guide you. And and so somebody at that seminar, who asked not to be named, covered my fee. So I'm gonna bust my ass and try to learn multifamily investing, and see if this pays off. So not out of the game yet, there's still a lot of barriers. I'm very aware of all the social barriers. My skin color, some would say, gives me an advantage maybe in this kind of realm, since most everybody at this level sort of looks like me. But I don't know, the whole crowd was very diverse, and it was cool to see people just wanting to raise each other up, and that's what the whole thing was about, was trying to raise each other up. So I don't know, just glad to be still in the game, still have an opportunity, you know, just be able to try to give back if possible.